The court finds, after considering the statement as a whole, under all the circumstances surrounding the issue, that the district attorney's speech did include defendant Roman and his counsel within the ambit, whether intentional or not. Didn't Scott McAfee say earlier on in this decision that the defendant's rights were not prejudiced? That their what was the word? Their due process rights were not prejudiced? Oh, I'm sorry. It seems to me, Scott, that you have contradicted yourself in fact and in law in this very decision. If compromising their rights of due process would have been grounds for disqualifying Fani Willis, but you said it didn't happen earlier, but you're admitting it did now. Disqualification of Fani Willis, disqualifying Nathan Wade is not going to remedy this problem right now. You said it before, defendants weren't prejudiced, and you're saying it right now. Her speech included them, and it necessarily had to. More at issue, instead of attributing the criticism to the criminal accused's general aversion to being convicted and facing prison sentence, the district attorney ascribed the effort as motivated by, quote, playing the race card. She went on to frequently refer to Wade as the black man, not the man that she's boning, while her other unchallenged assistant attorneys labeled one white woman and one white man. She never mentioned that she was boning Nathan. It's rape. I have no relation. They're liars. They're liars. Merchant had no good faith basis for any of this, and they're only doing it because of race. How much more does one need to undermine the judicial system than this? A race-baiting liar of a DA. How much more do you need, Scott? The effect of this speech was to cast racial aspersions at an indicted defendant's decision to file this pretrial motion. But their rights weren't. However, the speech did not specifically mention any defendant by name. It didn't mention them by name, but it did include defendant Roman. Can you get your logic together, McAfee? She didn't mention them by name, but she did include them. Okay. As best it can divine, under the sole direction of Williams, the court cannot find that this speech crossed the line to the point where the defendants have been denied the opportunity for a fundamentally fair trial, or that it requires the district attorney's disqualification. Did we just go from due process to a fair trial, or are we just saying that the only form of violating due process is to have an unfair trial? Because it didn't get to trial yet. It didn't taint the jury pool, but it was race baiting. It included the defendant Roman. It was dishonest, but it doesn't require her disqualification, but it was still legally improper. Scott McAfee is playing intellectual tennis with himself. I mean, it's more like intellectual ping pong. They didn't have their rights violated. Okay, they had their rights violated. The speech included Roman, but it didn't mention them specifically. It's not serious enough that it requires disqualification, but it was legally improper. Bing, bang, bing, bang. He's fighting with himself. It's like the devil on his shoulders fighting with the angel on his shoulder. He listened to the devil, but it was still legally improper. Proving this type of public comment creates dangerous waters for the district attorney to wade further into. Oh no, this is a warning. Don't do it again, Nat. Don't do it again, Fani. The time may well have arrived for an order preventing the state from mentioning the case in public forum. Oh, he's giving a little something to the defendants. Make a motion, a gag order, so to speak, for the state, for the prosecutor. She shouldn't have done it. Creates dangers if she keeps doing it. And it might be time for the defendants to make a motion to shut Fani Willis up. But she gets to stay if she so chooses.